President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the 36th virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The federal government has approved the establishment of SIM swap centers by mobile network operators across the local government areas of the country. The Kano State Governor, Dr. Labaran has approved the recruitment of 500 doctors, pharmacists, laboratory scientists, and other allied health workers. And from the foreign scene, the European Union has reiterated its commitment to supporting civil society organizations in various areas of sustainable development in Nigeria. Details in a moment. Good evening and welcome to Amol News. I am Anas Idris Hassan with the details. President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the 36th virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Ministries of Interior, Environment, Works and Housing, Power, Finance, and the Independent National Electoral Commission are expected to make the presentation at the meeting. In attendance of the meeting were Vice President Yemi Oshimbaju, Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Gambari, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, as well as 10 ministers. The 10 ministers in attendance include the Information and Culture, Lajalai Muhammad, Justice, Abubakar Malami, Agriculture, Sabana Nono, Finance, Zainab Shamsun Ahmed, and Environment, Mahmoud Muhammad. Others were the Ministers of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Humanitarian Affairs, Sadia Umar Farouk, Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, Interior, Raouf Arebishola, and Power, Salamamang. Dr. Fola Shadeni Isan, the head of service of the Federation, and other ministers participated in the weekly cabinet meeting from their various offices in Abuja. A minute silence was observed for a former Secretary of Commerce and Tourism, Muhammad Inu Bakari, who died on Sunday, 21st February at the age of 88. The federal government has declared Zamfara State a no-fly zone to halt the swap of gold for arms by armed bandits, other criminals, and illegal gold miners in the state. It also banned gold mining in the state, even though this is not the first time it's taken this decision on mining. In the last decades, bandits had been terrorizing Zamfara State and its environs, leading to the killing of hundreds and kidnapping of thousands, the latest being the student of Government Girls Secondary School, Jangebi. A no-fly zone or a no-flight zone or air exclusion zone is a territory or area established by a military power over which certain aircraft are not permitted to fly. Aircraft that violates a no-fly zone may be shot down by the enforcing state depending on the term of the no-fly zone. The federal government has approved the establishment of SIM swap centers by mobile network operators (MNOs) across the local government areas of the country. The approval was disclosed during a meeting of the Ministerial Task Force on the NIN SIM registration chaired by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. During the meeting, the federal government also approved the extension of the tenure of National Identity Number enrollment agent licenses for MNOs from 1 to 5 years. A statement jointly signed by the Ikechukwu Adinde Kayode Adogoke, Director of Public Affairs, Head Corporate Communications, Nigerian Communications Commission and Nigeria Identity Management Commission, respectively, said the steps were to simplify the enrollment process for agents of NIN. A technical committee was mandated to complete the development of a new SIM issuance strategy that cannot be compromised. This will ensure that there is no repeat of the past process that was compromised through pre-registration by some agents. The Kano State Governor, Dr. Labaran, has approved the recruitment of 500 doctors, pharmacists, laboratory scientists, and other allied health workers. Dr. Aminu Sanyawa, Kano State Commissioner for Health, who made this announcement, said the recruitment was approved to enhance healthcare delivery in the state. He added that in order to provide affordable and quality healthcare delivery to residents of Kano, the state government has approved the recruitment of 500 doctors, laboratory scientists, and technicians, pharmacists, and others. The governor also directed the ministry to assess the state of health facilities in 484 wards of the state. Ganduje also approved the employment of 1,500 other sets of health care workers who will be posted to the 484 health care facilities. Governor Muhammad Inwo Yahya of Gombe State has appointed Malam Ellade Sunusi Mayamba as the Mai Tangali. Ismaila Obamisili, Director General Press Affairs, Government House, Gombe, disclosed this in a statement. In an exercise of the powers vested on him under the Gombe State Chieftaincy Law 2020 and based on the recommendation of the kingmakers of the Tangali Chiefdom, the Gombe State Governor Alhaji Inwa has approved the appointment of Alhaji Ellade Sunusi Mayamba. The Commissioner, Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Ibrahim Dasuki Jalo, who conveyed the governor's approval and presented the appointment letter to the new Maitangali in Poshia, Belliri, said the appointment of Malam Ellade Mayamba was informed by his personal qualities and stability. The presentation ceremony was witnessed by the chairperson of Belliri Local Government Council, non-kingmakers of the Belliri Chiefdom, members of the Traditional Council and other functionaries. At least 50 passengers were kidnapped by bandits along the Tegina Mina Road in Rafi local government area of Niger State. According to a source in the area, the bandits blocked the road at Kundu town, a few kilometers from Zwingeri town, when three commercial vehicles loaded with passengers ran into them. The passengers were reportedly abducted while the vehicles were left by the roadside. In another development, armed bandits abducted unknown numbers of villagers at Gidigori town, still in Rafi local government area, burning 5 cars and cutting away valuables. While confirming this incident, a senior government official who craved anonymity said nothing has been heard from the bandits to enable the authorities to know the identities of those kidnapped. Again, one person was killed, while several others were kidnapped when bandits raided Manta town in Shiroro local government area on Monday evening. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has brokered a truce between the Governor of Benue State Samuel Otom and Governor of Bauchi State Senator Bala Muhammad. The conflict was resolved following the intervention of Governor Wike and his Adamawa State counterpart, Governor Amadou Fintiri. Briefing journalists at the meeting, which held at Governor Wike's private residence at Romeo Proyokum, Mohammed said the outburst between him and Otom over Herder's planning for filing was regrettable. Similarly, Otom appreciated Governor Wike and Governor Fintiri for arranging the meeting. Otom identified the failure of the security architecture of the country for the recent outburst between him and Governor Mohammed. Unknown arsonist on Tuesday evening attacked and set ablaze the shopping complex of the Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ-Zamfara State Council Secretariat located at Gusau, the state capital. According to the shop owners, suspected thugs stormed the press center and started vandalizing one of the shops and later poured petrol on the plastic items in the shop and lit it with lighter. One of the shop operators, Malam Umar, who sells provisions, told newsmen that when he got to the opportunity to open his shop after the arsonist had left, his shop was full of smoke. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has written to the Code of Conduct Bureau requesting copies of the asset declaration form of a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC. A top official in the commission confirmed to the press the authenticity of the letter dated November 6, 2020 with reference, which was circulated online. The letter was signed by Abdurrashid Bawa, the new chairman of the EFCC, when he was the head of the Lagos Zonal Office at that time. This request is made pursuant to Section 38 subsection 1 and subsection 2 of the EFCC Act 2004. The letter read, several calls to the mobile phone of the spokesperson of the EFCC, Wilson Owajaran, were not answered. Former managing director of Alpha Beta Consulting, Dapo Apara, had written petitions to the EFCC accusing the firm of tax evasion and being run by Tinubu, albeit by proxy. The Arewa Consultative Forum ACF has called on the leadership of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers in Nigeria to put a halt to the blockage of foodstuff from the north going to the south. The chairman of ACF, Chief Audu Obe, in a statement issued in Kaduna, said Nigeria is not at war with itself and such a drastic action is not necessary but will only further complicate the socio-economic and political problems facing the country. ACF shares the concerns of Nigerians over the decision of the Amalgamated Union to stop movement of needed food from the north to the south. The Ogun State government has deployed 10 patrol vans and 20 motorcycles in the Yewa axis of the state as part of efforts to check the farmers and herders clashes in the area. The state governor Dapo Abiodun, at the presentation ceremony in Abeokuta, said the measure was a fulfillment of his promise to return fees to the crisis-affected areas in the Yewa axis. Abiodun recalled that when that crisis broke out a few weeks back, he had constituted a joint special security intervention squad as well as a high-powered government delegation to mediate between the two parties. He also recalled that he promised to support the task force with operational equipment and other necessary logistics support needed to accomplish its tasks. The governor noted that the people of the area who lived close to the border area of the Republic of Benin usually had difficulties making distress calls in times of trouble. At least 2 police officers have been killed in Obubra local government area of Cross River State. According to community sources, the policemen were shot dead by unknown persons on Wednesday morning. Irene Obo, police public relations officer in Cross River, confirmed the attack to the press. Obo, who did not go into detail, said the officers were killed while their arms were carted away. Last week, armed men broke into police stations in Imo and Abia states, killing officers and setting the stations on fire. First Public Relations Officer Frank Mba had later announced that some of the persons behind the attack in Abia State had been killed. But rather than deter those behind the attacks, they carried out fresh attacks, especially in the south. Governor Adeboye Oyetola of Osun State has approved the release of the sum of 780 million naira to further offset pension arrears of retired officers of the state civil service. The arrears, the government noted that, is part of its commitment to improve the welfare of retired civil servants and workers of the state. This followed the release of 1 billion naira, 200,000 naira for pension settlement during the Christmas and New Year celebrations, the release of another 708 million naira in February to further offset pension arrears, and the presentation of bond certificates of 963 million naira to 143 retirees in February. In a press release signed by the head of service, Dr. Festus Oloyoboyega Oyebade, the sum of 508 million naira of the released sum was approved for the payment of retired civil servants, while an additional sum of 150 million naira was approved for the payment of retirees under the contributory pensions scheme. The governor of Oyo State, Shey Makinde, has said the state will not provide land for ranching as it believes it is a private business. Makinde said this to clarify a tweet in which he revealed that Oyo State will adopt the National Livestock Transformation Plan, which has already been implemented in Kwara State. The governor, after a meeting with his Kwara State counterpart, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, has said that they also agreed that the National Livestock Transformation Plan, which is already being implemented in Kwara State, will be implemented on Oyo State, leading to further collaborations between both states on economy and security. His tweet was taken by many to mean an implementation of rural grazing area settlements which many Nigerians had in the past kicked against. The Emir of Kagara in Rapi local government area of Niger State, Alhaji Saliu Tonko, is dead. Tonko, who died on Tuesday in Mina after a protracted illness, was born on April 5, 1930 in Tegina and left behind wives, children and grandchildren. On January 1st, 1982, he was appointed as the second chief of Kagara with a second-class status to succeed Alhaji Ahmadu Attahiru, who held the position until his death in November 1981. On 1st November 1991, Alhaji Salihu Tanko was promoted to the rank of first-class emir by the military governor of Niger State, Colonel Lawal Gwadabe. In a statement on Tuesday, Niger State Governor Abubakar Bello described the death of the monarch as a colossal loss to the Kagara Emirate and the North Central State in general. The news is coming to you live from the News and Current Affairs Department of Rama Television. The news will continue after the break. Please stay with us. And now we will take our business reports.
The Nigerian power sector yesterday received another boost as the Transmission Company of Nigeria disclosed the attainment of new peak transmission. The company, in a statement made available to newsmen, stated that it successfully transmitted an enhanced peak generation of 5,801.60 megawatts at 9:30 p.m. on 1st March 2021. Stakeholders in Nigeria's oil and gas industry are expected to converge in Abuja next 2 weeks under the auspices of Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Nigeria International Petroleum Summit for a hybrid conference and high-level networking session. The event, which in furtherance of the federal government's declaration of the year 2021 as the decade of gas development for Nigeria. Commenting on the initiative, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, said Nigeria should take the leading role in Africa as gas becomes the dominant fuel for generating power in the continent. Adding that is the reason the federal government is implementing carefully conceived initiatives for foster productivity and attract investment in the gas value chain. The Debt Management Office has explained that the 2.1 trillion allocated for debt service in the 2018 federal government budget was paid directly to the directors by the Office of the Accountant General for the Federation. According to the agency, the explanation became necessary following media report that it could not account for funds allocated for debt service in the 2018 federal government budget. The management of the Debt Management Office had appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives last week, where the committee inquired about utilization of the 2.2 trillion provided in the 2018 Appropriation Act. It described.
We will now take our report on the important issues that happens on these dates with our correspondents.
On this day in 1815, United States declares war on Algiers for taking U.S. prisoners and demanding tribute. Similarly, on the same date in 1852, France and the United Kingdom declare war on China. Also on this day in 1924, Major General Johnson Thomas Aguiyi-Ironsi was born in Omahia, present day known as Abia State. It was also on this date in 1938 that oil was discovered in Saudi Arabia. On a similar date in 1956, Morocco gains independence from France. On 3rd of March 1961, King Hassan II ascended to the throne of Morocco. Likewise, on similar date in 1991, United Airlines 737 crashes near Colorado, kills 25 persons. And lastly, on the same date in 2013, a 2-year-old United States girl became the first child born with HIV to be cured. That has been the historical report with me, Adam Abdullahi.
And before we move into the foreign scene, here is our correspondent with the sports news updates.
Cristiano Ronaldo has marked his 600th league appearance with his 20th Serie A goal of the season as Juventus comfortably beat Spezia by 3-0, with all 3 goals coming in the second half, with Ronaldo getting his side start when he finished off a quick counter-attack in the final minutes. Victory moved Juventus to within 3 points of second place as AC Milan. Ronaldo's goals means he has become the first player to score at least 20 goals in each of the past 12 seasons in Europe's top 5 leagues. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola believes Manchester City have come through hell and done something more than remarkable by overcoming a tough winter schedule to extend their winning run to 21 games in all competitions by beating Wolverhampton Wanderers by 4-1. City have not dropped points in the league since drawing with West Brom in December last year and are now 15 points clear at the top of the table. Barcelona manager Ronaldo came and says he is devastated at the arrest of former President Josep Maria following an investigation into the club's financial issues. Josep Maria was one of 4 persons arrested in what police call an investigation into alleged crimes related to property and the socio-economic order. He resigned as president in October. That has been Hawa Abdul Karim Osman from Sports Desk.
Into the foreign scene, the European Union has reiterated its commitment to supporting civil society organizations in various areas of sustainable development in Nigeria. The head of Democracy Awareness and Migration of the EU delegation to Nigeria and the ECOWAS, Clement Butler, disclosed this during a Zoom interactive session organized for the Civil Society and the Corporate Affairs Commission on the implementation of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Butler said the decision of the EU to step up support for the civil society or organizations around the world under Nigeria was to increase their involvement in deepening democracy. He said the EU Act program implemented by the British Council was one of the areas the regional body is supporting the civil society in their work, adding that they are happy to provide a platform for the CSOs to share their perspective with the CAC over their new acts. 4 media workers recently arrested in Ethiopia's conflict-hit northern Tigray region have been released. Fitsum Barhan and Alula Akalu, translators working for AFP News Agency and Financial Times respectively, BBC journalist Jami Gabriel and Temrat Yemen, a local journalist, had been arrested over the weekend and earlier this week. On Wednesday, Abebe, deputy head of Tigray's interim administration, told Reuters news agency all journalists and translators have been released without charges. Mulunega, leader of Tigray's interim administration appointed by Addis Ababa, had earlier said the 4 were being investigated and there is already some evidence. A strong earthquake has struck central Greece, sending people near the epicenter running from their homes in panic. Tremors were felt across the country and as far as Albania, North Macedonia, Kosovo, and Montenegro. The epicenter was 20 kilometers south of Elassona, a town almost 400 kilometers from the capital Athens. The Athens Geodynamic Institute said in the city of Larissa, 40 kilometers south of Elassona, people rushed out of their homes. Some realized that they did not have a mask and returned inside. Daesh claimed responsibility for an attack that killed 3 female media workers in eastern Afghanistan on Tuesday evening. The militant group, which has a presence in Afghanistan, said its fighters had targeted the 3 female employees of a television station in the eastern city of Jalalabad according to site intelligence group. 3 women who worked for any Kasa TV aged between 18 and 20 had died, and a 4th was critically injured after being shot on their way home from work, Afghan officials had said. Saudi Arabia urged the UN Security Council on Tuesday to shoulder its responsibility and hold the Iran-backed Houthi militias in Yemen accountable for the threats they pose to international peace and security. The Houthis' terror activities continue to jeopardize UN efforts to reach a comprehensive solution in Yemen and undermine the credibility of UNSC resolutions, Abdullah Al-Muallim, Saudi Arabia's permanent representative to the UN, wrote in a letter sent by Arab News. He alerted the Council to the continued military hostilities committed by the Houthis against the Saudi Arabia. To end the news, the main points once again. President Mahmoud Buhari presided over the virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the Council Chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The federal government has approved the establishment of SIM swap centers by mobile network operators across the local government areas of the country. Kano State Governor Dr. Abdullah Umar Ganduje has approved the recruitment of 500 doctors, pharmacists, laboratory scientists, and other allied health workers. And from the foreign scene, the European Union has reiterated its commitment to supporting civil society organizations in various areas of sustainable development in Nigeria. That's all we have for you today. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Anas Idris Hassan saying bye for now.